What's up, warriors? How you doing today? I am the Breath Warrior. Braden's my name. Welcome. Please follow, subscribe, like, share with your friends, share with your loved ones, share with people you know who are having a trying time with self-defeating mindset or degrading lifestyles and need a little extra love, you know? That's what we can do with the breath. It's self-love practice. So please follow me on Instagram. I'm the Breath Warrior. I also created the Breathing Tree, which is on Instagram as well. Follow the Breathing Tree on YouTube. Subscribe. There'll be more videos on this type of stuff, educating on how the breath is our weapon against mental slavery, for empowering us to be healing. We are able to heal ourselves, and the breath is one of the ways we can do this. It is our birthright. So I'm going to go through something today. This is for all my fellow addicts, specifically sex addicts, porn addicts. This is a breath protocol I like to call Ass Annihilation, or better known as Lust Annihilation. So we've been tricked, we've been led astray. Men today are spilling the seed like crazy. And what happens when we do this chronic behavior, chronic and compulsive masturbation, spilling our seed many times a day throughout our life, we actually end up creating way more disease in the body. This is vital, super powerful energy, sexual energy that we can direct upwards instead of out. And when it's directed out, this wreaks havoc on our nervous system, our immune system, on our health, well-being, our spiritual well-being. So if you ever heard of anybody who has adrenal fatigue or late stage adrenal fatigue and they can't even get out of bed, people die from this disorder. One of the ways this disorder can creep up on us over the years, is through chronic compulsive masturbation and spilling the seed. So we want to reverse this. We take that seed, we take that energy, we rise it up. Every time we breathe in, on a physical level, every time we breathe in, cerebral spinal fluid goes up our spine and into our brain. Also, blood is moved every time we breathe, as well as seminal fluid for men. So I'm going to speak more from the men's perspective because that's what I am. But this benefits women as well, because we all have sexual energy. And when it's just leaking out of us, this is creating disease, okay? As well as stale air creates disease. So when we do this breath work, it's good to empty the lungs. And when we empty the lungs as much as possible, we create a larger range of motion for the diaphragm to move, which means we can move more volume of seminal fluid, cerebral spinal fluid, and blood, okay? This is all pivotal and paramount for our health. The breath is our vehicle for better health, better living. So today I'm going to just do a little bit of a overlook, kind of what's going to happen. We're going to do fire breathing, diaphragmatic. The belly button comes in towards the spine. It's exhale through the nose, powerful. I'm going to bring the camera down so you can see how it's doing, how my belly is moving. I'm relaxing the whole body, right? And I'm sending an explosive movement in the diaphragm. If you don't have diaphragmatic awareness, well, this will teach you to have diaphragmatic awareness. So this is done best on an empty stomach. So bringing that belly in, okay? This is really good for creating that diaphragmatic awareness, but also we're sending and shooting the blood and seminal fluid up and cerebral spinal fluid up, and the prana, the sexual energy, we're exciting it, we're bringing it up. So we're going to start with the fire breath, and then we're going to empty the lungs, and then we're going to go into progressive slow breathing, which looks a lot like box or square breathing. And this is progressively slower and slower. And what happens here is we create space for ourselves. The breath is magnificent for us when we do this, because we're slowing down the breath. And when we slow down the breath, we lower cortisol, we lower the blood pressure, we lower our breath rate, we lower our heart rate. This is all done within potentially one exhale. That's why the breathing tree is so amazing. And if you have a breathing tree, let's just hum through it real quick, because humming is amazing. Elongating the exhale. If you don't have a breathing tree, plug a nostril, close the throat, really try and elongate that exhale, hum. Nitric oxide goes up, we can move blood more effectively with nitric oxide. And this is all the inner chemistry, the pharmacy within our body we have control of. When we begin to tap into this, we begin to see miracles unfolding. So big breath into the nose, into the belly, in the chest, relax, relax into the throat, and release through the breathing tree or a straw or your nose. That's some good ass prana. I love it. So what we're doing there, we're not only exhaling really long and increasing nitric oxide, but we're creating what we call CO2 tolerance training. And this also can get into, depending on how intense we go, can be intermittent hypoxic training. So we're saying no to the breath. We're letting the body scream for air. This actually helps create more resilience within the body, our ability to adapt and handle stress. Over time, we practice this way, we become more resilient and we become more like a warrior. We go out into the world and we can conquer and we can be warriors for good. Okay? So humming, elongating that exhale, amazing for us. And then we're going to go into progressive slow breathing, creating that space, right? When we can hold empty lungs and tell the body not to breathe, we're reprogramming our nervous system. We're reprogramming our mind. We're doing a lot of amazing stuff. There's so much science coming out about this stuff, okay? I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty of it right now, but this is amazing, amazing practice. We're holding space for ourselves to do deeper healing and reprogramming our nervous system and our autoimmune system, as well as as well as processing emotions and trauma. Lots of trauma is stored in the diaphragm. And as we get older, this is the plague of humanity right now. As we age, our range of motion of our breath gets less and less and we become shallower and shallower breathers. Shallower and shallower breathing. Shallower breathing means acidosis, inflammation, more disease. Like I said earlier, when we empty the lungs completely, we're actually training our body to have bigger range of motion. And then we can fill our lungs even more. And we challenge our body, our lungs to increase the range of motion and the volume of our lungs. We're increasing that range of motion so we can pump more blood, we can pump more cerebral spinal fluid, and we can move that seminal fluid up too. And this is all part of the Kundalini as well. This is all related. Every time we breathe, we have access to Kundalini power. So we're going to tap into the diaphragm today. We're going to really work on that diaphragmatic awareness. And that comes from fire breathing. It comes from conscious diaphragmatic breathing, getting the diaphragm to move out. We do not have sensory neurons in our diaphragm. So we have to be conscious of our breath. We have to feel the organs. We have to feel what's going on. A deep breath, you'll feel it in your hips. The core muscles there, the fascia, it's all tied into the hips, which means it's also tied into the gonads for men. And Elliot Hulse, the master powerlifter and wonderful YouTube sensation, Elliot Hulse used to say, breathe into your balls. He's the first one I ever heard say that. And I carry that forward in my life till today. And I'm going to share that with you. So we're going to breathe into our balls. We're going to breathe into our womb. We're going to breathe deep. The belly comes out. We relax. Let the shoulders hang. All right. We try to relax the whole body and we breathe deeply. The diaphragm is moving. And we're going to increase the range of motion of our diaphragm, therefore increasing the volume of our lungs, increasing the volume of blood that can move, increasing nutrients in the blood, increasing our brain activity. All this stuff is happening with the breath. So we're going to start with fire breath. So we're going to empty the lungs completely. Then we're going to fill up halfway. We're going to start doing fire breathing. Right? We're going to do about 100 of those. Okay? And then we're going to empty the lungs and we're going to begin progressive slow breathing. So we're exciting all this energy down here in the root, in the sacral. This is where our sexual energy is stored. So we want to excite it, but we don't want to leak it out. We want to bring it up. So when we're bringing it up, we're using the diaphragm. The big belly comes out. And then into the chest we breathe, but we're visualizing the energy coming up. And we're going to visualize it coming into our third eye. And as we can also simultaneously visualize light coming in from our chakra into our third eye. So we're getting it coming in. And then my hands are moving like this while I'm breathing. I'm not just saying breathe in like this, but I'm also breathing in and I'm guiding the energy. I'm helping, it helps my visualization. So you can do this too. Breathing in, and then we're breathing out. We're bringing prana and we're bringing energy down into the body, grounding it into us through our feet, into the earth, in. Right? So we're going to slow down progressively slower and slower, which creates more and more space for us to process emotions, trauma, and get into a healing state. Okay? This is annihilation breath. I like to call it Ass Annihilation as a joke for all my perverted sex addict friends, but I also like to call it Lust Annihilation. Okay? Because we're now turning out this outwardly spilling of energy, this lust, we're bringing it in, and we're turning it into self-radical love. Love for ourselves, okay? Creating this beautiful healing atmosphere within ourselves with the breath. We slow that down. We create space, safe space. We can do that with ourselves. We don't need anybody else to create safe space. We can do that with ourselves. So here we go. Here comes the annihilation breath, the breathing sequence. Let's have some fun with it. Exhale, push out all that air. Stale air in the body is disease. Push it out, push it out. If you can make a sound, you still got air. Breathe in halfway. Fire breathing. Empty the lungs, relax the whole body. Empty the lungs, hold. Push out a little more, hold. Inhale. Slow it down. Plug a nostril if you have to. Close the throat. Slow the diaphragm. Bringing that prana, bringing that sexual energy up into the third eye. Hold. Visualizing light coming into the crown, into the third eye. Sniff in a little more. And exhale. Bringing that energy down now. Bringing it from the crown down into the root chakra, down into the feet, into the ground. Hold. Inhale. Into the belly, then the chest, then the throat, into the third eye. Hold. And release. Hold. Inhale. The belly comes out. Relax the hips. Relax the glutes. Breathing deep into the balls, into your chest, then your throat, into your third eye. Bringing that light, bringing that energy, that sexual energy into your third eye. Hold it. Sniff it a little more. Bringing that prana and that light in from the crown into the third eye. Hold. And release. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Push out more. Hold. In. Visualize that sexual energy coming up the body, into the third eye, into the forehead. Hold it. Visualize the light coming down through the chakras, into the crown chakra, into the third eye. Be still, sniff in a little more. Hold. Release. Empty the lungs as much as you can. Hold. In. Hold. And exhale. Hold. In. Hold. Release. Hold. Big breath in. Grab a straw or your breathing tree, or you can plug your nose here. Hold it. Release a really long exhale through the breathing tree, humming, visualizing that energy coming up, circulating through your body. Empty the lungs, return to normal breathing. This protocol can be done in any fashion that you like. If you want to increase or elongate that section with the fire breathing, go for it. You want to speed it up and slow it down, go for it. That's exciting and creating that energy in the body, and we're going to move it. And the visualizations are very important here. Rising and also pulling down that sacred energy from above. And then you can also visualize it circulating through your system, up the back, down the front, right? Every time we breathe in, we're bringing that energy up. Every time we exhale, we could think about our electromagnetic field or our heart field right here expanding beyond our body. We are more than our body. We have an astral body. We have an etheric body. The etheric body informs this physical body. So I invite you to research these things as well, because it's all connected. And when we get with the breath and we create this energetic process, we get in touch with these other parts of our being. We can start to feel this extrasensory energetic body that surrounds our body. We become more attuned to it. So this is the lust annihilation breath, bringing that sexual energy up instead of pushing it out or letting it spill and leak out of us. This has been one of the biggest lies and misleading things for young men for now generations. This isn't new, but we've been led astray. And these are practices that I've been learning on my own. And it's taken me a while to find these things. I checked myself into SAA in my early 20s, and these practices weren't in there. But it brought me to meditation. It brought me to community. It brought me to being more authentic and communicating with people, like-minded individuals who are trying to heal. And if we want to heal, we need to surround ourselves with people who are healing. So the breath, it's here for us. Every time we breathe in, so much is going on. Every time we breathe out, so much is going on. We can control the exhale and the inhale, slowing it down. Slowing it down creates miracles, creates the space within us where we can begin to heal. Diaphragmatic awareness can be difficult because there are no sensory neurons in our diaphragm. We have to develop a relationship with our diaphragm. If you're a woman with many children, potentially you have a lot of diaphragmatic trauma from displacement of pregnancy and from horrific traumatic birthing. It can really wreak havoc on our breathing mechanics. Every single person I've worked with has at least one breathing defect. Shallow breathing is a disease. If we don't empty our lungs regular, we are keeping stale air in the lungs. Stale air is disease. If we're becoming more and more shallow over time, we become more acidic and we create autoimmune disorders and more inflammation. We can also, through breathing, we can influence fat absorption or fat loss. There's chemical reactions within the body that are influenced by the breath. And slowing down the breath and the exhale, even just the exhale alone, a long exhale, reduces cortisol. If cortisol is chronic and always high, fat will begin to accumulate on the body. And we know the more fat we are, the more disease we have. So all these things are worth thinking about and pondering because a breath practice can help with all these things. So if you want to know more about how a breath practice can help you and how a daily protocol can really start to help reverse diseases and reverse addiction and start to actually treat addiction, anxiety, depression, cortisol, chronic cortisol, so it'll also help with fat loss, it'll help with cardiovascular health. I teach this to anybody who wants to know. We are all warriors. I implore you, I invite you to check out my Kajabi course, the Breathing Tree Foundation course, where you'll learn about progressive slow breathing, where you learn how to use a metronome, where you learn how to use your own walking stride as a metronome, and then we learn about musical breath. And if you go onto the course, you get one of my songs. We all need love. One of the best ways we can show ourselves love is by giving ourselves a breath practice and a big belly laugh. A laugh. Diaphragm. It's magic what a big laugh can do. Get the diaphragm moving, pumping blood, create joy in your life with the breath practice today. I'm the Breath Warrior. You can follow me on the Breathing Tree on YouTube or the Breath Warrior on YouTube, also on Instagram, also on Facebook. Check out my website, bwmusic.ca. That's BW for Breath Warrior music.ca. I sell breathing trees for people. This one is one of my favorites. It's made out of diamond willow, famously known for its transmutation energetic properties to help us transmute poor energy or negative energy into beautiful, uplifting energy. Vocal toning, I also teach a lot about that in the course, how good it is for our cells to begin toning with our own voice, vibrating. There's also the vagus nerve stimulation that goes through our vocal cords into our heart and into several organs through our whole body. There's so much we can do with our voice. There's so much we can do with our lungs and the breathing. So follow me, join me on this journey, become a breath warrior, become the strongest version of yourself. Breathe better, live better. Peace and love and prana, baby.